A lot of my videos start from a problem. I'm sitting with like Windows 10 or Windows 11 and I'm like trying to get to the settings, and then Windows throws these snares in front of me and it's like, these are not the real settings. These are like a new settings thing that we put on top to save you from yourself because we don't want you getting to the core stuff that we used to just give you in Windows 7. In this video, we're going to create a new start menu. We're going to optimize the Windows File Explorer to make it a lot more like it used to be. And we're also going to replace the sound icon down on the bar and give you something that's way more full featured and also gets you to the old school sound settings much faster. And then we'll talk about some aesthetics and maybe a few other tweaks. This will all work for Windows 10 and it can work for Windows 11 as well, but not in the same way. But we'll cover all that in the video. First thing I need to do is clear up some of the nonsense that's already here before we start installing anything else. So I'm going to right click on the taskbar, click on taskbar settings. Oh, we need to activate Windows. Look at that ugly activate Windows thing. Is this what your Windows 10 looks like? When you try to go and change your color scheme or your background, does it say, oh, sorry, you gotta activate? We need this dark theme. You can go buy a retail CD key if you want to. It's gonna cost you over $100 typically, maybe a lot, maybe $150. And if you're buying Office, it's gonna be a lot more than that. Or you can do like I do and grab an OEM CD key. It's the exact same product when you buy an OEM key. It's just, this is the price that the big corporations and stuff pay when they buy them and put them on laptops or whatever when they buy them for their offices. So everyone should get the same price, and that's why I always buy OEM keys. And I do it on whokeys.com. We have Windows 11, and you can also get Office. Pick the version you want. I'm going to get Windows 10 Pro. By using coupon code TS25, you can get 25% off these prices here. So go ahead and put TS25 in here as your coupon code, hit apply, and then you can see we can get Windows 10 Pro for $14.85. Once you're finished, if you want to access your key, you click on your name on the top right, click on User Center, and you'll see My Purchase Orders. Right here, you'll be able to view the keys that you've purchased just by clicking on View Keys and Codes. Then you will see your code right here. Just go ahead and copy this code, press Start, type Activate, and you'll see activation settings come up. Click on that. Then click Change Product Key. Right there, you can paste in your code and hit Next, and then you will be activated. It's very simple. And while you're on WhoKeys, be sure to check out some of their new stuff like their wireless mice and mechanical keyboards. All right, now to the regularly scheduled video. All right, so now we're activated. We can right click on the taskbar again and access some of these options. And this is all going to be subjective stuff. So I like to use the small taskbar buttons. Right click on Cortana, or just right click on the taskbar, and when it says search, I'm going to do hidden, and I'm going to right click again, uncheck Cortana, right click again, and the task view button. These are all things that are completely subjective. If you use these things, then leave them checked. Next up, all this junk on the start menu. Now I used to run a bunch of like PowerShell commands to get rid of all this stuff, but sometimes that breaks functionality, and we really need the Microsoft Store, unfortunately, these days. So right-click and uninstall everything you don't need manually. It's kind of a pain, but you got to go through this, and you can remove anything you like here. So there's like this weather thing. If you like it, and you want all this stuff right here, by all means, but it kind of gets in the way for me. So what I'm going to do is right-click, go to News and Interest, and just turn that off. Before I replace anything else, I gotta personalize this just a little bit. So I'm just gonna do the dark theme. And the only other thing I want to do with the taskbar down here is get rid of the Action Center, because this stuff here, I don't really need notifications about that. I'm in control. I know what's up. Click on Start, type Notifications, and you'll see Notification and Action Settings. Bring that up, turn all this off. You know, I'm gonna turn all this junk off. There we go. And now if you want to get rid of the little icon over there, we'll just hit Start again and type System Icons. And then we can turn System Icons on or off, and you can turn off whatever you like. So I'm going to turn off the Action Center. There's that. I don't want location on this device, and the rest of them you can turn these off depending on what you need. We want to make a restore point. So hit Start and type Restore. We can create a restore point here by clicking on our C drive, turning it on, and you can set up how much you want to use, and then we can create a restore point right there. I'm just going to title this Before 7 of Vacation. So creating a restore point quickly, and that way if anything happens while we're doing all this stuff, where we're messing around with some system files and stuff, if anything happens, you can always restore back to this. Okay, now we're safe. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is head over to GitHub and grab a copy of OpenShell. OpenShell used to be called Classic Shell, now it's called OpenShell, but this will bring back the old school style start menu instead of this nonsense, whatever this is. If you're using Windows 11, you're not going to be able to use the Open Start yet. It's not available yet. So you'll need to use Stardock's Start 11, and this program costs money. It's very nice, It's going to be a different process, but it will allow you to get a Windows 7 style start menu. I do like Open Start possibly a little better, but this one does a lot of stuff. So you may end up downloading this and finding out that the quality of life features that this gives you with Windows 11 are totally worth the price. I did buy this for my copy of Windows 11. So just check out Start 11. So just grab Start 11 and skip past the OpenShell stuff in this video. All these links are going to be in the description, by the way. So just come over here and click on the latest releases. I'll make it a little bigger so you can see. And then just grab the exe file. Click on that to download, and we can install it. Click on more. Well, you gotta do this first. Click on more info. Unknown publisher. You can hit run anyway. Now, when we're installing this, when we get to this page, only need the OpenShell menu. We don't need Internet Explorer, and we don't need Classic Explorer. We don't need these things. In fact, if you install these and you're using the dark theme, it's gonna make a mess out of everything. So install. Yes. Finish. Look down here, we've got our start menu. It'll ask us, what do you want to use for your start button? You can change it. And what style do you want to use? Classic style? This has been like this since Windows 95 or 98. Check that out. Oh, there it is, classic style. It's still got the color from Windows 10. It's pulling that color. And then we can do the 2 columns. That color's hideous. Hold on. Or we can do Windows 7 style, which I find to be the most functional. There we go. Control panel. Look at all this fun stuff. So set this up however you like, and then you can select your skin. Right now it's using the Metro skin, which is kind of goofy looking. But if we just use the classic skin, ah yes, looks familiar, right? Just for a little bit of fun here. If you want to do the 2 columns and select a skin, you also have the option to do the Windows XP style. Look at that. Just for grins. I'll turn it back in just a second. But yeah, you can do all these old school styles. This one's not quite as functional, but it's fun. We can use Windows Arrow. There we go. That feels like Windows 7, so I'm going to keep that. It's really functional. It looks really nice. As far as all this junk down here goes, well, you can just go ahead and right-click and remove or uninstall any of the stuff you don't want here. People, no! So I'm just going to start uninstalling some of this stuff. I don't need it. Now, you got to do this by hand. It's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Just remove, just unpin everything, remove from list. So clean this list up and then come back. All right, now that we got that done, let's say you don't want to have the start button there. Well, we can change the style of the start button by clicking on, replace start button. Now we've got the big arrow shell. Well, if you want to click on Open Shell homepage, scroll down and you're going to see a classic shell custom start button. And then we can scroll around and look for some start buttons. It gives you some information on how to make your own. But we can just go to the forum and just look around here. You will find some classic start buttons and stuff like that. Classic start menu right here. Got some Windows 7 skins here. I like the darker color. I'm just going to save the PNG. So save it. I'm going to create a new folder here just called Windows Buttons. All right, so I got that new one. I can click on Custom, pick Image. Going to go to my Pictures folder, Windows Start Buttons, and just select that PNG, and there we go. It's huge! What do we do when it's that big? Well, we can fix that as well. After we get our advanced settings up, we can do the task button and do button size. This is pixels. Let's try 32, see how that looks. Too small. Try a couple different things. Try, how about 50? I don't know, just randomly picking things. That's a little weird, but you can change this. 40 is maybe the best. You keep messing around until you get it the right size, but whatever. It's got the hover effects and stuff. See, when we hover, it like glows a little bit. So there's our start menu. So they've got the start menu button right here. If you click on this, it'll bring up the old start menu, but you don't need to do that, so we can remove that. Because if you want to get to the old Windows 10 start menu, if you ever need that, all you have to do is press Shift and then your start button, and it'll bring up the old menu. If you just press the start button, it brings up the new start menu from OpenStart. All right, now I'm going to talk about just how I set up this workflow, or like my OpenShell here. I put a bunch of shortcuts up here. This is just a demonstration to show you what you can do, give you some ideas. So I've got a few shortcuts here. Now, what's beautiful is after you install OpenShell, you can go and right-click on just about anything and click on Pin to Start Menu OpenShell. This one's already pinned there, but you can just pin stuff to OpenShell and it'll all go up here. Things that I use from the control panel all the time. If I don't want to go over here and always be looking around, well, you can just click and drag it over here. There we go. Right-click Properties and rename that just to Mouse. Yay. Now I can click on this and go to my old school mouse settings. Make sure that my pointer options, enhanced precision is off, because that is annoying. This is not a Mac, this is a Windows PC. So that'll give you some ideas. But my real goal here is to make sure that I never have to go to the Windows bubbly setting stuff like this. I don't want to go here. So what I do is whenever I find myself here, I'm like, you know what? Let's find the real network settings, this, and pin that to the start right here. So I can just now go here instead of here. That's kind of how I do my workflow with this. And you can just add as much stuff as you want right here. Also, how did I get this folder here? Well, you could just make a folder, fill it full of shortcuts. I do this with games. Like I've got a folder that I just filled with games. And then you can just click it and drag it and drop it right here. You know, it's going to be there twice now, but you see now we've got like these nested menus with all kinds of stuff. And you can just maybe just fill this folder with a bunch of shortcuts. There's so many things you can do with the open shell menu system. So now the next thing we need to do, you see I have two audio icons right here. One's good and one is evil. We're going to need to open up our Microsoft Store because we're going to replace this new audio icon that doesn't really do much. Like if I open up my sound settings, it brings me to this. And then if I want to, I click on device properties, it takes me here. I'm like, where's my old stuff? Manage sound devices. Everyone goes through this. Then you finally get to the bottom, you're like sound control panel, and there it is. There it is. Well, if you just open up your Windows Store and search for Eartrumpet and then install Eartrumpet, well, you're going to have a lot of fun. Just want to note, when you're installing this, and then if it asks you to log into the Microsoft Store, make sure that you log in with an offline account. And if it asks you to put a checkbox on signing in with your entire Windows account, don't do that. Just log into the Microsoft Store. Don't set up your Windows to log in. Anyway, once we install Eartrumpet, it's going to add another audio icon down here in the bottom. See, now we have one that says just Eartrumpet. Well, they're both going to be down here. So I only want to see Eartrumpet. So check this out. Click on the old icon and hold it down. Drag it over to the little up arrow and drop it here. Now the old audio icon is up here and the new one is down here on the bottom. Now why do we want Eartrumpet instead of the old one? Well, Eartrumpet gives us an enormous amount of control. In fact, more control than we had with the default Windows 7. If I right click here, I can already come up. This will be like all your different audio options if you have like different things, headphones and stuff. But since I'm using a VM, I only have one option. But check this out, Windows Legacy. I can come over here and click on that and then go straight to my sounds. Takes me here. Look, there's my playback recording. This is the old school thing. Let's try it again. That's just so much fun. Right click, Legacy. And then we can go to playback devices. There we go. And we can hit our properties on that and mess with it and do everything right there. So above and beyond that, it also, if you just left click on it, it gives us a different volume knob for every single application. And if you right click on any application and click on this icon, you can change the default audio output. So we can have just like, our audio program coming out of our headphones. We can have Firefox coming out of our desktop speakers and whatever else. You can map things independently. And that's something that goes above and beyond even Windows 7. So Eartrumpet is a must-have application for anything that I am using. And as long as you put the sound icon up here, there shouldn't be any confusion. Now, if you want to get rid of the sound icon altogether, press Shift Start to bring up your old school, or I guess your new school Windows 10 menu, and then type System Icons. Turn on or off System Icons, and you can turn off the volume icon. So now when we click down here, it's gone. There is no volume icon anymore. I leave it there just in case. It doesn't hurt anything to have it there, but if you just only want to use Eartrumpet, and you can do just about everything here. We can even click on settings and get to like some of our, fancy settings or whatever. We can click on our volume mixer and get to this volume mixer and stuff. But the main thing for me is we just have access quickly to our legacy settings here. Over on Major Geeks, there's a piece of software that I'm going to recommend you download called Old New Explorer. I'll give you a link to this in the description. Once you do, just open it up, and we need to copy and paste this to a file or a folder on our computer that everyone has access to. So I've always had a folder named Goods on my computer. That's just like something I've been doing since I was like 12 years old. I just put everything in my Goods folder. So I just drag and drop that into my Goods folder. Once we open this, there's a configuration file or a CFG application. I'm sorry, not file, application. And this is the Old New Explorer. So this is our, Windows 10 ribbon. So we got all this stuff. If you go to View, you have to click on View to get to all these things. If you want to do details or tiles or whatever, we can change things. But a lot of this stuff is just so basic, and it's like, yeah, it's there, but like, okay, whatever. Do we need all this stuff? Now with this, we can say use the command bar instead of the ribbon, and then it'll give us a Windows 7 style command bar. So just do this, click install, and then go through the process. It'll pop up in the middle of the page and say like, do you want to install? Click yes. And then when you open your Explorer again, you'll have this on top instead. I'll show you how that works. I'll go back into goods. Now we have contextualized menus depending on what we're doing right here. And it's like, okay, well, how do we change our view? Very simply, just like Windows 7. Large icons, extra large icons, list, details, very easy. We can always right click and do all these same things here. It's just simple. If we want our preview pane over on the side, we can do that. There's the preview for our whatever it is. Really handy. And this is pretty much the only way that I want to use my Explorer again. I like the up button here. That's something that I always love. And then I've got my Windows 7 style left and right buttons. If you don't want to use that, if you want to use the old school, or I guess the new school, I would say old school, but I'm saying things backwards. If you want to use the regular stuff, just close that, open it again. And now we have the, I guess, the more flat, metroized, I don't know, the flatter style theme. We can enable glass, disable glass. One thing I'll mention is down here, make sure that you leave this on white, default white. And the reason being is if you change this to the gray, close this and open it again, now we've got this goofy gray thing down here on the bottom. And that's because the white theme will actually work with your system theme. So if you have it on white here, default, all on default, and then you go to right click and personalize and change your system theme, it will automatically change this. So just leave this on default like it is now. I'll open it back up and you'll see default. Now everything makes sense and looks good. The rest of this you can just change to your heart's content. This is all up to you. If you want to use libraries on the side instead of the folder view, check mark the libraries, reopen this. Now we've got our libraries. Remember that? Yeah. I really don't want OneDrive to be there. So next up, how did I change these icons? Got these fancy icons right here. Okay, so I logged in. I'm going to go ahead and download this package of Windows 7 style icons. This is just the fun part really now. Downloaded it twice, make it stop. And now I'm going to make a spot to put these things. I'll just put them in my pictures, Windows 7 icons. Are you done? God, I'm so impatient. I don't care about all that stuff. I just want the icons. Grabbing all the icons from this. I'm going to throw them into my Windows 7 icons folder. And now these are all PNGs. If you know a source for just the ICO files from Windows 7, let me know in the comments. But right now this is just a quick and easy way to do this. So now what we need to do is convert these into icons. So this is something that's just an extra credit thing right here. Whoops, there we go, icon. Back to pictures, Windows 7 icons. Let's do the recycle bin. Why not? Upload the recycle bin. And then this website that I'm going to give you a link to will allow you to convert this to Windows 7 or 8 or whatever icons. Just click convert ICO and then download your icon. There, that one will download. Let's do another one. Browse. I'm going to do the recycle bin full. You can't just do one. Upload. Scroll down. Convert it. Download it. Do a couple more, then I'll just copy paste them all to the folder. I want to do my computer. I'll do it in my that's the network. There we go. Upload. And then we'll do convert. I feel like I need a vertical monitor for this scrolling up and down. There it is. There's my computer. Huge. You don't need it that big. Convert. Download. Now we have 4 icons here. There we go. I'm just going to grab those. That's Windows 7 icons. Let's do Windows 7 ICO. There we go. That way we know they're icons. So how do we change these things? So right click now and go to personalization. Just right click on the background. And then we can come over to our themes. Scroll down and click on desktop icon settings and it'll bring us here. So we can just start changing some of these things around. Let's change around the recycle bin, change icon, browse to my pictures folder, Windows 7 ICO. And we'll do that one. Now let's do the recycle bin full as well. Change icon, recycle bin full. Okay, apply. Look at that, it's the old Windows 7 recycle bin in all of its glory. Look at it. There it is. Well, you know what, let's change the network. Why not? You don't have to keep this here, and I'm making this large or small by holding on the control button and scrolling, just so you know, in case you're wondering, how the hell are you doing that? All right, so there you have it. That's pretty much what I do to make my computer a little bit more functional. And my real objective when I'm using Windows 10 is to avoid these goofy, menus like this as much as possible. I don't really want to be messing around with these menus. I don't want to be here. I want to be here. So whenever I have something that I'm accessing all the time, I either pin it to my start menu or I pin it right here just so I can click and go there. If I want to go to sound, click and go there. So whatever you use the most from your control panel. As far as the arrow theme goes, they used to have that in Windows 10, but they've removed it in the newer version. So you'd have to go to an old version of Windows 10 to get the arrow theme. If you want a full-on theming video, we could talk about that, but there'll have to be a lot of things done to make this work. The only other thing I will say is, let's say we have a couple different windows open here. Let's open up a couple file explorers. Sometimes it's a little hard to see where one window ends and the other one begins. So with arrow, we had like the slightly rounded edges, but we also had some like contouring on the edges and a bit of a padding or a bit of I guess it's a border between the different windows. So it was very obvious where one ended and the other one, stopped or started wherever. What I do to combat this is go to personalize right here, and then I click on my colors, and then you scroll down to the bottom, and you can say show this on the title bars and window borders. It's only 1 pixel, so it's a little annoying, but it will show your color on the title bar of the one that's active, so you'll be able to see like this one's active, that one's not active. And whenever this happens, I've always noticed that my color is usually a little bit weird. It's too bright. So I usually have to come up and pick a custom color and just bring down the brightness quite a bit. Maybe a little softer there. There we go. That's a little bit easier to see. Whenever you hit the all button, this menu is still white, so we just have to leave that off. But most of those things are accessible otherwise. So there you have it. It's just easier. That's the way I like to use it. This is the way I use my operating system. So let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you're already using some of those, tweaks or tools or whatever. You may have been using your operating system more like Windows 7 and not even known it just because you got frustrated and were like, how do I make it do this? And you found the options that I told you about in this video. So let me know how you're using this. Thanks again to our sponsor, Hookies, and we'll see you in the comments.